We are now joined by Brian Vickers, driver of the number $20 General Toyota in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Obviously, a big announcement for you this past week that you will run the Nationwide Series full-time next year with Joe Gibbs Racing with sponsor Dollar General. So talk a little bit about that now that you finally can, and just about going to defend your championship that I believe you won 10 years previously to next year. So talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I saw this opportunity came up as a surprise, and trying to figure out what was next and where I was going to head. Going into this season and subsequently same kind of philosophy going into next season. Wherever I ended up, I just wanted to be in a car in an organization that I was happy, and I felt like I could show up at the racetrack and I had a chance to win every week. And that's what led me to sign with MWR again for those 9 races. It went so well. I've obviously felt like I found a home within the Toyota camp for the last 6 years. They're only getting better and better and better. I see a bright future ahead there. And then when JD called me with this opportunity to run full-time nationwide for the championship, it kind of caught me out of a surprise at first. And then the more I thought about it, I was really excited. I mean, they have, no one can argue that the JGR Toyota group have one of the best nationwide programs on the circuit. And the chance to race for another championship I thought would be a lot of fun. To be in a car that I felt like every week when I showed up we had a chance of winning was so all the stars kind of aligned, all the criteria fit as far as my goals were concerned. And then the icing on the cake was Dollar General. I've had an opportunity to work with Dollar General now for the last 5 or 6 years, and just absolutely loved it. It's just a great company to work with, be a partner of. Their passion for motorsports, their passion for the fans and their customers is unprecedented for anyone. I've really worked with them in a lot of cases, and I'm just so pleased to be here and to have this opportunity to go do it. So next year is going to be it's going to be an exciting year. I mean, this year was great. It was very different for me, running some NASCAR, some sports car, spending so much time in Europe and racing there was a lot of fun. And then now I'm starting a whole new thing next year and racing for the Nationwide Championship. Well, not a new thing, actually, like you said, 10 years ago. So going back for the 10-year anniversary, and I'm thrilled. I can't wait.
All right, let's start off with Joe, and then right here.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Brian, is it weird at all, thinking about, it's been 10 years and now you're going back, or do you look at a guy like maybe Elliott Sadler and how he's kind of gone back now to the Nationwide Series and seems like he's kind of, revived his career, and do you look at that at all?
I try not to compare myself to other drivers or to my career to other careers. I mean, it's obviously been anything but normal. It's been very unique in itself for so many different reasons. For me, I kind of have things and goals that I want, and the opportunity at JGR in the Nationwide Series with Dollar General and Toyota, and then obviously the stuff with MWR on the Cup side, just fit all those, fit the list. It fit the criteria, which was to be in cars that could win races and battle for championships if I was running a full-time series. And obviously, Mark and I and Michael have a chance at the Owners' Championship in the Cup side, so we can't rule that out. But I just want to win. I want to have fun. I want to be with a group of people and, companies I enjoy being around. And I think that's when I perform my best, when I show up to the racetrack and I'm enjoying it. And obviously I'm in a car and a group of guys I feel like can win. I didn't really think about it as, 10 years and Nationwide versus Cup versus, it's like going into this year. When I was getting in the Ferrari, at 24 Hours Le Mans, I didn't think about anything other than, wow, this is amazing. I want to be in this car. It's fast. It's fun. If I thought about anything, I thought about seeing how I could finagle Toyota to let me drive the LMP1 car they had parked next to us. I'm still working on that. Hint, hint. I would love to. I would love to drive that car, but in general, for me, I just wanted to be in fast cars, and I didn't really think too much about what series it was in as much as being in fast cars. And I feel like at Gibbs and Toyota, that's what I'm going to get.
All right, go ahead, Brian.
Brian Nelson, Motor Racing Network. Brian, you really do sound grateful to be where you're at despite the setback from a couple years ago with the illness that kind of puts you in the position of having to run a full-time situation, and then also now in the Nationwide Series. Now how do you describe kind of where you're at, right now? Are you truly grateful to be in the position you're at, or do you kind of rue that whole illness is putting you in the position you're in?
Great question. I'm very thankful for it, actually. I learned through so much through going through that experience. It opened up so many doors in my life. I had amazing opportunities to explore other forms of racing, explore the world, and do some amazing things. I honestly, I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and I'm very happy about it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
All right, let's come from to Dave, and then we'll go to Wolfgang, and then Lee.
Dave Coleman, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Brian, one of your teammates in this deal is going to be Matt Kenseth. Did you guys do anything in the last year or so to sort of repair a relationship, create a relationship? Do you have to be friendly? Or are you going to do anything going forward? And do you have to be friendly to be good, productive teammates?
Well, yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to Matt being my teammate. We've spoken several times. We didn't plan any trips together or anything. I think he's kind of busy being a father right now. But, him and I spoke a few times. We've texted back and forth, actually quite a bit. We were kind of joking back and forth when all this was kind of coming together. And, it's funny how life works. I've always found in racing that if you have a run-in with someone, you're almost guaranteed to start next to them the following week. Almost guaranteed. And, obviously it's only fate would have it that Matt and I are going to be teammates. But we're totally good. Yeah, listen, we all race hard. We're passionate about what we do. And, we're on the same page. And we're looking forward to running together next year and being a part of an amazing organization in Gibbs and Toyota.
Does it help, or do you have to be friendly to be a good teammate?
I don't think that – I've seen two teammates race together that didn't get along, and they both performed, and I've seen two race together, and they did get along, and they performed. I mean, obviously a direct line of communication always helps, but I don't think that, two guys need to be best friends to be good teammates.
All right, Wolfgang?
Wolfgang Munzer from German Rennsport Press Agency. When the Red Bull team finished or disappeared from the NASCAR business, you were without any ride in NASCAR. Did you look seriously into other kind of racing in Europe? You mentioned you enjoyed racing in Europe, maybe sports cars, DTM, whatever turned up. And how different is European racing when you went over to Le Mans compared with any kind of racing you did in America?
When Red Bull pulled out at that time, a lot of the good rides in this series were kind of already taken. So for me, it was just exploring all the possibilities, and I looked at everything from sports cars to prototype stuff at one point, and a lot of things kind of came and went. I even looked at running the Indy 500. And that was kind of heading down the path of happening. And then with the engine debacle over there, and then the car stuff, and they didn't have enough chassis, didn't have enough engines, and then when the engine manufacturers pulled out, so that limited the engines even more going into the 500, so that kind of didn't happen. I talked to some DTM teams, sports car teams, LMP teams. I had an opportunity to drive an LMP1 car at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which I was really excited about. And then, with the Dyson guys, and then they ended up not being able to run. They lost the sponsorship required to go run the race. So and then the opportunity came along with Rob to run in the GT2 class, which was fantastic. So a lot of things kind of come and went. A lot of things happened. A lot of things didn't this year. And but I was open-minded to exploring all of them. And anything that I possibly could. I actually looked at a lot of different stuff, not to go down the whole list, but the stuff in Europe was a blast. I mean, I had so much fun. But honestly, I really enjoyed the stuff here too. The stuff in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with NWR and Aaron's was fantastic. We were fortunate to have a lot of good runs, and had a lot of fun doing it. And then obviously all the racing in Europe, and it was tough because a lot of the stuff, by the time I got there and started meeting people and talking to folks, it was kind of mid-season. It's hard to put stuff together in the middle of the year. And if I was going to pursue that with a little bit more vigor and kind of get ahead of the game going into 2013, if a full-time NASCAR opportunity didn't present itself, was going to spend a little bit more time and probably start a little bit sooner working on some opportunities in Europe. But when everything came together with Gibbs and MWR, it made sense, and it was an opportunity I couldn't turn down. So so my focus is now back here in NASCAR. But the difference in the two worlds, there's some differences that are stark, but there's some that are. But most of it's just racing. I mean, it really is. The languages are different. The food's different. Driving for an Italian team, you have amazing food every week. I love Italians. I'm a little biased, but it is. We always had good food. But it's interesting. The mechanics and the team and the operations. I mean, maybe the structure and the way the garage is laid out is different, but it's still racing. The guys are still racers. They love racing. They're passionate about their cars. You unload. You go as fast as you can, and you work on the car for as long as you can. And then you go race. And I think there's more similarities than there are differences between American racing and European racing, but there are differences as well.
All right, let's go Lee, and then we'll wrap up with Reed.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Can you talk about testing the new car, the 2013 car, and what are your impressions?
I've run a couple tests now with the 2013 car, and we've tried a lot of things. Some of the stuff we tried didn't work at all. It was horrible. And some of the stuff we tried was amazing. The Charlotte test, we unloaded with kind of what we finished with at Kansas, which I thought was probably one of the best packages they had on the car. And I was really happy with it. The car drove good. It seemed to race well in traffic. We made some changes even at Charlotte that made the car even better. Honestly, the whole process it's been a pleasure driving the cars from Talladega to Kansas to Charlotte. It's exciting to see NASCAR and all the teams and the crew chiefs and engineers and manufacturers really working together to try to come up with the very best product they can.
How many cars were out there testing? We were told 6, but I mean, is that enough to give you a good idea of how it's gonna behave in traffic?
I don't remember exactly how many cars were at Charlotte. It seemed like it was more than 6, but maybe it was 6. It was basically a car or two from every team and every manufacturer. I think that's enough cars. I mean, maybe it behaves a little bit different on a restart if you're 15th in a pack of 43, but the reality is most of the racing you're going to do is going to be around 3 or 4 or 5 cars. Some of the stuff we did at the end of the Charlotte test, getting the front down and changing how we could potentially inspect the car and different things and keeping the front down in traffic was really amazing. I mean, it's probably the best car I've ever driven, a NASCAR car I've ever driven in traffic. So I think there's a lot of potential there. Again, you're asking, someone who's viewed the painting that's not painting the painting halfway through the painting what it looks like. I'm not really in charge of it, and it's not even done yet. There's a lot of changes to come, but everything I've driven, at least the direction they're headed is right. I mean, I think the car is better, but we've tried some stuff that didn't work for sure. I mean, that's part of trying a lot of different things. But where I left Charlotte, I thought the car was better than what we have now in traffic, which ultimately I think is the goal of everyone, the teams, NASCAR, everybody.
Go ahead, Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Brian, with you running for the Nationwide Championship this year, could you talk a little bit about how your perspective is different now and how it might have changed over the years from the 20-year-old guy who won the championship in 2003?
I don't know if we have enough time to answer that. Obviously my perspective on a lot of things in life and racing have changed over the years. Just 10 years in racing is going to do that. Throw in a few curveballs, a couple hospital visits, some time out of the car, some hard lessons learned, all that's going to change, and you're going to grow and mature and have a different perspective going into rewinding 10 years. But the truth is, I'm sure, or at least I hope, 10 years from now, I would say the same thing about where I'm at today. You always want to try to grow and become wiser and smarter as you age, and I feel the same way about where I'm at in life and motorsports and how I'll approach next year, how I approach this season. But I can only hope and pray I feel the same way 10 years from now. If I don't, I'm going the wrong way.
All right, we'll take our final question from Nate.
Ryan, USA Today. Brian, going back to the Charlotte test, one of the things that NASCAR apparently is trying is the reducing horsepower from like anywhere from 0 horsepower to 200 horsepower. How do you like that? Is it something that improves the show, and do you think fans would even notice if they took away a little bit, if it helped?
I'm open-minded to doing anything that helps. I didn't have a chance to try the low horsepower stuff. I spoke to a few guys that did. They didn't like it. Of all the racing that I've done, more power, the better. The more mechanical grip, the better. The grippier the tires are and they fall off, the better, I mean, a lot of this is about building a car that allows Goodyear to build. We've kind of put Goodyear a little bit in the box sometimes with these new services and with the cars, with the tires they have to kind of bring to the racetrack. We want to give them a car that they can build some tires that have fall off, which I think makes for great racing. And part of having fall off, part of a car starting out fast and getting slower every single lap is wearing the tires out. Adding horsepower does that. It puts more of it in the driver's hands. He has to manage the tires. He has to manage the throttle. Anytime you increase horsepower, your mid-corner speed slows down, which is only going to help the tires. And anytime you decrease horsepower, your mid-corner speeds go up. That's something that's kind of always been the case. We've seen it time and time again. They saw it at Charlotte. When they reduced the power, the mid-corner speeds went up. And, so I think everything they've – and again – I want to preface this by saying they've tried a lot of things, in the sake of let's try everything and let's see what works and let's see what doesn't work, and I applaud them for that. We tried some splitter stuff, we tried some different configurations, some spoiler stuff that didn't work, but ultimately they settled on what was best, and I have no doubt they're going to do the same with the horsepower situation. Again, I didn't drive those cars, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. Some of the guys that were there on the second day would probably be better to ask, but of all the racing I've done, I would think more power would be better. But
all right, congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much.